there's an antiquated way to do insurance, which is with a paper app and a fax machine. And then there's an Ethos way to do insurance, which is with a link that's coded to me as an insurance agent that I send out to my potential clients and offer to answer any questions or help facilitate them getting a quote. This is the future and this is the past, right? I don't have a fax machine anymore. I only have a printer to print out soccer schedules for my son's soccer team. And so to see that a company like Ethos is continuing to innovate and to be focused on the future is great to be partners with. Hello, everybody. Grady Polson here, Family First Live America. As always, excited to have Mr. Marty Evans joining us from the Bay, right?
Yes, I am in the Bay.
In the Bay. Join us from the Bay. He is the head sales trainer, assistant to marketing liaison. He dances, he sings, he makes stuff happen, he fixes problems, and he's also just one of the most humble and easiest guys to love in insurance. Mr. Marty Evans, coming from Ethos. We've worked with him now for over a year. It's got to be. And every time we have Marty on, it just gets a great response because there's a lot of intrigue into the Ethos product, right? There's an antiquated way to do insurance, which is with a paper app and a fax machine. And then there's an Ethos way to do insurance, which is with a link that's coded to me as an insurance agent that I send out to my potential clients and offer to answer any questions or help facilitate them getting a quote. This is the future and this is the past, right? I don't have a fax machine anymore. I only have a printer to print out soccer schedules for my son's soccer team. And so to see that a company like Ethos is continuing to innovate and to be focused on the future is great to be partners with. Us as an agency, Family First Live America, we did over $1 million issue paid with Ethos last month in February, shortest month on the calendar as well. Traditionally, our lowest volume month as a company, because February is the month where every month we have our annual convention. So our producers are out of the field for 4, 5, 6 days. And to see us as an agency and Ethos as a company hit over that 7-figure, that 1 million issue paid mark, just shows the trust our agents have in Ethos as a company, as well as where the future is going to go as far as our partnership with them. So beyond excited to have Marty Evans on with us today. And Marty, how are you, and what's the latest going on with Ethos today?
Oh man, I've got a lot of great things to share. I did want to at the top of the session, roughly how long do I have? Because I've got so much I don't want to run over, but
40,
roughly how much
45
time?
minutes. So, yeah.
Oh, let's go. Well,
Yeah.
in that case, I can say, 5 seconds about myself. So as Grady mentioned, I've been with Ethos for a while. I actually went to business school with the founders, so I've known about Ethos before there was an Ethos. And I would be remiss if I didn't start by just explaining why I'm so hype and turned all the time. It's because I respect what each and every person watching this and a part of this organization's doing, which is we're all chasing dreams. My license plate is dream chasing because that's what each business owner is doing. And I just love the opportunity to interact with entrepreneurs. I watch Shark Tank like everyone else. And so I love this opportunity. So you'll see it radiating as I share. But I'd say to start, the biggest things that we've got by way of updates are actually the ability to actionalize the feedback that you gave us about, sometimes I have older clients, it's hard to get them through a DocuSign. Well, we finally have that e-signature, so you can simply have a text message sent over to your client. They can read it back. And that signature ceremony, as our legal team taught me it's called, is going to be able to get that policy signed. And then next, coming out next week, so I'm stealing a little bit of thunder from the marketing team, but I won't share all the details. We have an agent rewards program that's coming out next week. It's going to be an awesome way for you to simply get more rewarded for what you're already doing. So definitely check out an email that'll be dropping on the 19th and some text messages to follow up about what we believe is the most innovative agent rewards program ever that's coming up really soon.
Oh, cool.
And so if I can jump on in, I'll just go through our agenda. How's that sound, Grady?
Love it, bro. I love it.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna start with our overview of just what our Ethos IUL can bring. The single most important slide is gonna be how and why we believe you can sell more IUL with Ethos. I'm gonna talk about where we sit relative to some of the other great companies that you might have experience with, and then I'm gonna show you soup to nuts. I never start a meal with soup and end it with nuts, but people say that. I'm gonna show you the end-to-end quote to application process, and then finally some resources that we make available for you and yours to just make this product even easier to sell. So at the onset, it's important to say we as a technology company are focused on you not focusing on what we focus on. And that's a roundabout way to say we don't want you trying to figure out software. We don't want you trying to figure out how do I get the pieces of this puzzle to work. We want you to focus on what's most important, which is protecting families, changing their lives, and then selling more life insurance. So we design everything to try and make sure what we do is what you don't have to worry about, which is making it easy to use. And if you have, and I think I got some props around me, if you've got a phone, if you've got a laptop, I've got an iPad over there, if you can get on the internet, you can protect your families. And so we really want to make that one call close a reality. And then we've got great comp headed your way the day after the effective date of the policy. And it's kind of unheard of, but it's 100% bonusable. So we also want to help you meet those FFL goals that you've set, whether it be at convention, on stage, or if it's just in your week in and week out lock-ins, making sure that we're helping you to get more points on the scoreboard because we know everyone's competitive. Moreover, you can reach higher amounts. You can reach those higher death benefit coverages with up to $1 million of max coverage. And that's, more than 3x some of our competitors. And then the other thing that I hear every time I'm anywhere near Arizona is, Marty, you got to give me some living benefits. I need some more riders. I need some more things to help communicate what my clients can get while they're still here, how they can smell their flowers while they're still alive, as the once great Kanye said. And so we've got many of those for you, and we've got this product built on the backs of the financial heavyweight that is Emeritus. I mentioned that, the founders of Ethos and I, we went to business school together, and Emeritus has been paying claims before Stanford was a school. So it's over 130 years of making sure to make good on promises that you can then communicate over to your clients. This is that most important slide. If you're on a phone, take a screenshot. If you're on a computer, also capture this, because this answers that question of how and why you can simply sell more IUL with Ethos, protect more families with this product. And it's really 3 categories. First is it's a quick and easy to use platform. Second, we make more coverage options available compared to what you might have previously been able to access. And then third, we've got unparalleled sales support to help you in that process. And so double clicking into that, the first thing is simply the user experience is meant to make it as easy as possible for you to go from quoting all the way through applying in one place. You don't have to reach or click through different screens to find what you need. And you don't have to be a math major. You don't have to know pi to 200 decimal places is the longest I've ever known it. To know that if it previously takes you 45 minutes to an hour, and now it takes you less than 15 minutes, you can simply sell more in the same amount of time. And so that's incredible, as well as being able to illustrate or update your illustrations while you're quoting makes it as seamless as ever. And later on in the presentation, I'm actually going to log into a live agents portal and walk you through how to do exactly that. That second bucket, more coverage options. You don't have to settle for, a $300,000 or even $450,000 limit. You can reach those clients that want that $5, $6, $8, $9 million face amount. And then we don't just bifurcate the world into are you smoking or not. We have risk classes and table ratings, so your clients can get actually what is the risk, what is the price that makes sense for them. And if you are like my wife, who still loves watching Survivor all these years later, when a team loses, the guy Jeff says, "Sorry, got nothing for you," and just sends you back to camp. We don't do that. A lot of carriers do that. At the end of the application, if you get declined, they say, got nothing for you. And then that's the end of the sale. We try and preserve that sale and keep that hard work that you poured into getting this client to this stage by, if they are declined, we reroute them to our True Stage Advantage whole life product. It's another 100% instant decision product. And if you're relatively new to FFL or learning about Ethos, in the fall, we actually boost the compensation on that product 30% throughout the hierarchy. Can't answer questions on comp because we don't handle that. We just execute what FFL tells us. But I can say no matter where you were, we added 30% to it back in the fall. So you can still get compensated well for your efforts, even if your clients decline. Last but not least, I'm just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to sales support, but we've got agent training as well as client-facing resources to help you facilitate those conversations, since an IUL admittedly can be a little confusing or overwhelming for a lot of people. In terms of that $1 million coverage, that's for those age 20 to 50, and then it gradually decreases as you get up to your more senior years through age 65. Fun fact, you can actually sign up for AARP as a teenager. They're just trying to expand their membership, so you don't have to wait till you're, over 65, and you can get discounts on all kinds of things. Just fun fact. But we're covering 20 to 65, and then our availability, I am going to ask for your attention on this. The availability is currently all 47 states that don't include the island of New York, which we will not be available in. Oregon is imminent, so we expect that next month. And then California, I know a lot of people sell in California. We are targeting by June. It takes about a year to get approved. We applied last July. The maths such that we should be good to go in June. So stay tuned in Q2 for the Golden State to be available as well. I do see a question about True Stage. The True Stage guaranteed acceptance is a 2-year wait, but we have other options that aren't necessarily just limited to that 2-year waiting period. So generally a no, Mike, but there are some that are that you do have to wait 2 years, but there's no questions. It's pretty straightforward. In terms of product deets, for those who are looking at the market, we've got an S&P account, 2 S&P 500 accounts that you can choose from into which index you'd like your client's indexed universal life to be placed. We've got a few volatility controlled accounts, and then we've got 1 fixed return account. The rates on these get updated every month, and I'll show you where in your portal you can see that. We've got the living benefits I alluded to earlier, including an accelerated death benefit, and we've got chronic and terminal condition coverage. And then finally, we've got an optional lifetime income rider. So when you are sipping those Mai Tais on those cruises that you saw earlier, in your retirement, you can lock in guaranteed monthly retirement income with the simple one-time activation fee for that feature. Now you might be thinking, well, if this is anything like Apple, the more tech that they put into something, the more the price tag just floats up. We try and use our tech not only to cut out difficulty to navigate and cut out time, also to keep prices as competitive as possible. So as you can see here with these illustrations, we're oftentimes cheaper than leading competitors, and then occasionally we're within a few dollars, but you don't have to worry about, if you choose to send your client down this route, are you really not giving them a competitive price? I see one question about, do we have child riders on our term policies? Not on our term policies just yet, but we love feedback, and we have heard how important these living benefits are. So we are looking at more riders and more living benefits that we can, enhance pretty much all our products with as time goes on. Now, this is an important slide. It can be kind of dense when I walk you through, but I want everyone on this call to be able to sell IUL. So it's important that I just talk through how you get contracted. First things first, and this isn't just IUL, this is life insurance in general. You need to be licensed in the state in which you're soliciting. So technically, even where you're saying I can sell it, you need to be licensed. Definitely by the time you start the application, and by all means at the time that the policy is submitted, You need to be licensed in that state in order for that policy to be, accepted and for us to be able to pay you. And that's not our, making up rules. Those are state requirements. So let's take that as a given. The second is, unlike our term and whole that you could log into agents.ethoslife.com right now and go sell a whole or term product, with the IUL, you actually do need to be appointed beforehand to complete the sale. And we try and make that as clear what steps are needed in your portal. So what I'm going to invite everyone who's in front of a computer to do right now is I want you to go to agents.ethoslife.com. So I'm dropping that in the chat right now, agents.ethoslife.com. And this is what that's going to look like. If you've never logged in before, it's going to take you to a login screen where you're just going to, I'm actually already logged into a portal. So let me open one incognito. There we go. Agents.ethoslife.com. You don't have to remember passwords. We've got a simple one-time password system where you just type in your phone number or your email address. And if you've ever received a correspondence from Ethos, so if you've received a single text message or email, you're not on some like marketing list. You already have an account with us. So use that same phone number or email address to be able to log in. And once you do log in, skipping ahead a bit from our slides later on, but I want you to just go into the quote section, run a quote, and at the bottom of the quote screen, after you run an IUL quote, there'll be a little box where you can request contracting. So I'm going to show you really quickly, and then we'll go into depth of what the quote actually entails, but really quickly, shouts to Arizona. I see you. Let's go with, well, this is a demo portal, so let me go with this one. Let's go with Arizona. This is a real agents portal. And once you put that in, you should, I need a birthday, of course. Let's go with, I got to go Pi Day. I can't be lazy with it. We got to go Pi Day. There we go. And let's put you in 1985. Why not? And now I'm going to get that quote. This person has already already appointed because they don't see a pink box. If you've not been appointed, you'll see a pink box here. Click request contracting. That's step one. Now I'm going to type these out in the chat. I told you this is going to be the dense slide. Step one, run quote and request contracting. Step two, email your contracting team at FFL America and say, I would like this product. So request IUL appointment or request Ethos IUL appointment from your team. So step one, you request it in your portal. Step two, you email and ask for it. Step three, simply complete appointment paperwork in SureLC. And then step four, you're going to get an email from Emeritus, receive writing number from Emeritus. You don't have to do this with each state. You just need to do this once, but you do need to do it in order for you to be fully set up. Your writing number. Okay, so recap. You're going to go in your portal, run a quote. You're going to click at the bottom of the screen, this little pink thing that says request appointment. You're going to email your team, hey, I want to be appointed to sell Ethos IUL. You're going to fill out that SureLC paperwork, and then you're going to get a writing number from Emeritus. Now, the great thing is you don't have to wait on that process to finish, which takes a few business days. You can today, you can not only run a quote, you can complete an application for every state that's available except for Pennsylvania. They will only let you run a quote if you're not appointed. You can complete an application with a client today, and it's just going to wait in a queue until you're fully appointed, and then we release it. So there's nothing, please no one leave this call and be like, yo, Marty showed me this awesome IUL, but said I got to wait for all these steps. No, Marty said you can sell today, and then you can run your appointment in parallel, and then you can submit that app to actually activated once you have done those appointment steps.
Do I have to get anything?
And no, your upline does not need to be appointed, or I could let Grady answer that question. The question was, does your upline need to already be set up with Emeritus in order for you as the downline to be able to sell?
Do I have to get anything notarized at mailboxes, etc., or like get anything paper apps I got to sign and fax back?
No,
mail anything from Federal Express and go wait in line at the UPS store. I don't have to do any of that stuff, Marty.
Hard no, hard no.
It's
We're
all it's
technical,
all,
we're
it's all
digital.
online. It's like you're like it's like a tech company went and created an incredible insurance company. Interesting. All
That's
right.
all you got to do. You can do it from your phone. I got a new phone, Android gang. You can do it from your phone. No paperwork, no any of that. You don't
Okay.
have to worry about it. So that's something that I'm just thrilled to be able to offer. But just remember, follow those steps to get set up. You can do them in parallel with actually going through a full application later on today. You could get someone an IUL. Pennsylvania, you can only save a quote. All the other states that we're already available in, you can go through a full application. And then once you get that product rolling, we're paying you great comp, very competitive comp the day after the effective date. And if you go in your portal, I'll show you where you can see your earnings and see all the good information there. Now, let's look at some of our competitors. And I'm not in the business of bashing competitors, but I am in the business of, they say steel sharpens steel. I like to theoretically think about, can diamond sharpen diamond? But anyways, I like thinking about where is it that we can shine and where do our competitors keep us honest? I already mentioned living benefits is an area we've been working on because we know others offer it. And so this is where I'm going to show you a few ways that you can think about Ethos juxtaposed with some competitors. Start off, design isn't just about how things look, it's also about how things function. And we actually took it, and I'm not taking credit for it. Our design teams, our product teams, our engineering teams think it's so critical, not just to think about this looks nice for an agent. How can our screens, how can our flows be an asset for you as an agent to affect your sale more efficiently, more smoothly, and more confidently? I know how tech forward FFL America is. And so when you see how seamless this configuration is, when you see how you're able to, in one screen, see all of the information that you need at that given moment, versus on the right, you can see you got to click around and different modals are taking up the screen. That's how we think about keeping the client's attention where you want it. And sometimes that means zooming in on a specific question. All I need to know is what state you're repping right now. Whereas you can see on the right, some of our competitors make it easier for you to lose control of that sale because their eyes are just trying to follow and answer all these questions. That makes it difficult for you, the agent, to control the flow of what information do I need. Now, I am going to go a little more in depth because I get questions all the time. I'm like, well, how is this compared to blank product? Or this product has this really high cap rate. What about Ethos? I'm going to get into the weeds real quick. And since this is recorded, you might revisit this down the road after you get a little more familiar with some of the minutia of an IUL. So the cap rate is, that's the maximum amount that will be credited in any given period to your client's account. And so if you see a really high cap rate that's a lot higher than the industry average, most likely that means there will also be some high charges that you might not immediately see or really be able to see very straightforwardly from your carrier's product. And the analogy I think of is like JCPenney. JCPenney has the 50% off of this, and then if it has a red circle, you get 20 more percent. And if it has a blue circle in a red circle, you get 30 more percent. Well, what if they just raise the prices before they do all of that? Similarly, if you have a really high cap rate, if the market goes up 50%, you get 30% of that. It's very hard for an insurance company to literally stay afloat if they're actually paying that much. It's just the math at the end of the day. So the industry average, we are right within that, and that should actually give you confidence that we're standing by a promise that we can live up to. Similarly, illustrated rate is an illustration of a hypothetical future. If Grady said to a new agent, on average, our new agents tend to make blank in their first month. If he said the average agent tends to sell $20 million worth of life insurance, you'd be like, well, that's a high number, but is that really what I can expect? Or you set me up for disappointment. With the stock market over the past 60 years, averages a little over 6.5%, with reinvested dividends about 8%. And so if you see this industry average is 5 and some change, you might be like, well, why is it not 8? because remember, with these IULs, in down years, your clients aren't losing money, and you have to basically pay for that down year insurance. So you don't expect it to be exactly that. So with an industry average around 5.5, you see we're slightly above that. That is something that gives us the ability to, propose a rate that we can stand by. If you see something that's really high, you should be skeptical because it's just math at the end of the day. Carrier ratings, of course, if someone's going to make a promise, which an insurance product is, I promise when you die, I will pay. You want that person to be someone that has the financial reliability to stand by that promise. And so we've got an A+ rated carrier, so that's something that we are proud of. We're able to give you that promise. Living benefits, if it's a really complicated formula, it's really opaque, that's an opportunity for your clients to be unpleasantly surprised when they do try and act on those. Ours are straightforward. And then last but not least, the no lapse period. You want that to be long so you don't have to worry about it. I'd watch out if I were you for short no lapse periods, because that's another way that your client can be unpleasantly surprised. So in general, our IUL is giving you more cash value potential. It's very flexible in how you can configure it, gives you a lot of protection and the confidence of that, strong carrier, with a very straightforward process for you to take advantage of, which leads me to those soup to nut demonstrations that I said I would show you. So can everyone follow me to agents.ethoslife.com, where you can log into your portal, and we're going to, what do you know? I'm already in an FFL America portal.
To be
It's
Everyone,
like
drop an
it.
M in the chat below real quick to show Marty some love for all he's given us so far. I mean, this is just the detail and the passion around it is it's just I love we got to get you. It's like you got to come back every quarter. You got to keep
This man got me blushing. Y'all got me blushing over here. Look at that. Y'all showing me love. I really do appreciate it. I do. And it's Pi Day, which is basically a holiday to me. So I love this. Once you come into your portal, you're going to go to quote and application. So when you go to quote and application, go to start IUL quote. And now we're about to get jiggy with it. For those who are not as old as I am, that is a shout to Will Smith before he slapped people. So I'll call him the once great Will Smith. A lot of people are once great today, but we're going to come in and we're going to go to our IUL quote screen. And one thing that's going to save you some heartache is we're going to go to the Ethos IUL knockout guide. So you can just quickly see what are the, pitfalls, or what are the things that would lead to your client being knocked out. I strongly recommend you read through these so that if, for instance, someone has applied to more than 4 carriers, or had more than 4 insurance applications with non-Ethos carriers in the preceding year, they're going to be knocked out. So you can just look through this. If they did have a felony 7 years ago, I wish them the best, but they're not yet. Maybe in a few years they can reapply, but they're not yet going to be approved. Definitely take a look at the knockout guide, and then let's get rolling with our
for general underwriting. I've always tried to explain it based like this. An IUL is going to be a similar underwriting scale as term, right? From the felony standpoint, where like our simplified issued whole lives that are 40, 50,000 max, 30,000, etc. Those are going to be, those are just going to be more simpler. And I always try to explain to agents, they're like, well, why? And I'm like, well, there's more risk to the insurance company. You have to understand it's a bet on death, right? And if you've got a healthy 65-year-old, he can qualify for 300,000 here on the Ethos IUL. But if you've got an unhealthy 65-year-old, the likelihood of them passing in the near future, according to actuarial science, right? These are the insurance terms and jargon that you guys, as you learn, as you say smart things, people think you're smart, that determine that they're more likely to die, but we'll still give them 30, 40, 50,000 worth of coverage at 65 if they fall in these less stringent parameters. That's why they don't ask about felonies and DUIs on whole life policies, because it's not as much risk. Now, granted, if I got a bunch of DUIs and felonies and I want $1 million of insurance, what's the likelihood I'm going to continue making mistakes? We want to say maybe he's reformed, but I've got a history, right? So these are just for you guys, as you continue to sell insurance, understand that the numbers are based off of the risk the insurance company is willing to take. Now, they're willing to take the risk, but it's always at a certain price. per month. So, but that's just for clarity, like go, okay, IUL is going to be like term. So if they wouldn't qualify, now granted, there's always those caveat situations where X,
Right.
Y, and Z could happen and carry the one, but predominantly IUL is going to have similar underwriting guidelines to the term products you're already selling. So if they're not going to qualify for term, don't waste your time going down this path and selling them on the greatness of an IUL.
Right.
Just go stack some whole lives and, find out if they got a spouse.
Yep, that's absolutely right. It's actuarial science. So two things that really help me get my head around it is if you think about what's actually going on, and if you apply for yourself and you don't get approved, don't take offense personally. It is people with these characteristics, not you as a person, but people with these characteristics on average over the, law of large numbers, think about casino math, tend to have these characteristics. And so the mortality predictions, if you get a large enough group of people, it's over 99.999% accurate, but there's no certainty at all of saying, I know the day or even the year when Marty's going to die. But I can say that, 50 people out of this group of 1 million will die in 20 years. And that's simply the math that ends up leading to exactly what Grady just described. So with that being said, actually, let me show you one little trick. Someone asked about, well, what health class should I use? Similar to what Grady just used. And I'm going to give this feedback to my product team. If you were running a term quote, you see under the health class section, we actually have some little tips on what health class would make sense. I'm going to relay that feedback to my product team to try and get that over into the IUL quote, but it's very similar with regard to that. So now if we look at
It's interesting that was based off BMI, which is weight, right? And it's just, we
height
know
and weight, yep.
heavier bodies are going to have more fat. Now, granted, it could be more muscle, but it's more joint pain. It's more weight. It's more harder. The heart has to pump and all these things. So, I'm down 45 pounds, since last summer. So but not been trying to buy life insurance, but like, I just don't want to die sooner. I got 4 kids, etc. So, this isn't a health clinic for everybody out there. But as my dad's a big IUL producer, and he would always talk about like the way insurance companies and actual science look at these health situations. He would like equate it to the vitamins he'd take. He's like, well, they don't think they're going to die if they've got X. So I'm just going to keep taking the vitamins and I'm going to be and so it's just, as you guys progress with life, like there's no fun in making all this money and then not living long to enjoy it. Right. So make sure you take care of yourself, take care of this temple in this house as much as you're trying to take care of, this temple in this house, your wallet, etc. So just I digress. Back to Marty, but I get fired up about this because it's plain simple. Insurance company says if your BMI is X, you're substandard. If I'm substandard as an adult, like I got to make some decisions of how do I want to continue to live, and do I want to be in that sort of what billion-dollar companies determine is I'm more likely to die. Well, I don't want to be in there. I don't want to be there anymore. So pass it back to you, brother. But yes, it's simple. So
yeah. And you know what else is simple? Staying hydrated with a 1 gallon jug.
1 gallon
I'm at my desk a lot. So I had to buy on Amazon like the longest straw I've ever seen. But you got to do what you got to do.
Gallon a day.
I need to get hydrated, so I got a gallon.
You got electrolytes in that water?
I do have some electrolytes.
There you go. You got it.
Is that strawberry? Oh, that tastes good.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So a question came up earlier about the solves, and you can see Smart Solve is going to be your happy place for most of your clients. It's pre-configured with the index allotment that is just going to be the happy place for probably 85-90% of your clients. And so you can easily choose what's the coverage amount. Some people are like, I hate sliders. It's the worst UI device I've ever seen. Well, we made a pencil for you. I'm telling you, I take feedback. It's a gift. And since it's Pi Day, I'm going to make it $314,000. Actually, since it's Pi Day, 3.14159, because I know a lot of digits of pi. And we are going to be able to go like that, or you could set your premium. Obviously, who didn't see this coming? $314. And you can configure it that way. And then look, we've got based on agent feedback, we've got some reminders of if you just want to really get used to what are the things I'm like listening for, what are the parameters for those like, A students that want to know all of what's going into this preset smart solve. We built this for you. We've also got advanced solve. And so these are your other scenarios. If you want to focus on cash value, your client wants to maximize cash value, they want to set the premium they're paying each month and how long they'd like to pay it. You click max cash value. Likewise, if they care less about cash value, more about death benefit, maximize protection. If they want to kick it with those Mai Tais in retirement, maximize retirement income. So you can choose whatever your client wants. And then I also relayed feedback to our product team. Let's get one more place for these knockout conditions so that if you're sharing your screen with the client, they can see this opportunity to say, well, I actually do have something that I wanted to share. I actually have been dealing with alcohol abuse. And so this is something that I think might knock me out. If so, we don't want to shame anyone. We can just route you over to run a whole life quote so we can get you where you got to go. And if your client have any specific medications, we've got a red list of medications that you could pull up as well. But if none of that's applicable, we're going to run get quote. And then I'm going to start my watch because Grady said I got to fax in my form to get my illustration. Let's see how long this is going to take.
Oh, it's
I
doing.
think it's going to take
thinking.
like 10 minutes or so to run this quote. You see all the demographic info that we put in is at the top. You've got your premium information here. You've got the riders that come along with the policy. And look at that. Before I could get to 20 seconds, we've already run an illustration. That's how fast we go. Saw you had something on the tip of your tongue, Grady. What you thinking?
Yes. So where I've grown up from in the IUL world is, living benefits great, death benefit great, but people are buying predominantly this product if they're buying it right, not just trying to get a bigger whole life or something that's a permanent policy, for the tax-free retirement income, right? That's what I'm trying to create. I'm 40. I want to pay in this product for 20, 25 years. And at 65, if I pay X this month, every month for 25 years, how much can I look to withdraw tax-free at 65 and month one when I'm done working? Can you show us how Ethos would do that? How do they display it?
Yeah, sure thing.
More solves.
So we're gonna go max cash value. Remember, if you had any questions or if anything that Grady's saying you want to look at later, you can click in here to see what are those specifics and what's the
retirement
difference.
income. That's what we're trying to create. So,
yep. Well, if we want to maximize retirement income, we can do that. That's no problem. We'll come over here and we'll put let's put 1040. I like taxes too, so 1040 is a good number.
Okay. 1040 a month.
We're going to run get quote now, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. You'll see what information you put in, what parameters you put in, and we're just running that quote. And this is where you can, as I said, have all that key information on one screen that your client can see. Let's say while this is loading, let's take a look at these riders. You can drop down and see all of those riders I described. One that is particularly helpful in this case might be that lifetime income that's going along with your retirement income. You can see the index that's being allocated or where your client's funds are being allocated. You can make changes if you needed to. If you hover over, you can see what are those participation rates, caps, illustrated rates, all those things. And then here's where we can see the actual illustration, just like that. We can see where the break even would be. And if you click on this little box right here, you can teleport. You can teleport through time, and you can step through time and see what are these, here's our 1040 premium amounts. You can see what the accumulated value is, what the death benefit is, and you can just see what the future looks like. So you can see when that premium stops, when they retirement.
This is the magic sauce, guys. If you've been paying attention, great. This is where you lean in and go, this is how I sell a lot of IULs by this slide right here. So I paid for 25 years, 12,480, right, Marty?
Yep.
We'll just, do you add it up on here?
How much they've total paid? I don't have that here.
12,480.
Yep.
Times 25. I paid $312,000. Okay. Now at 65, I pull out $45,000 a year tax-free.
Yep.
Okay. So divide 312 divided by 45,341 equals, in 6.8 years, I've got all my money back. And
Yep.
this pay me for how long, Marty?
Let's see. This is going to keep paying until it's paying for another, let's call it 20 years, so 85.
Okay. What do we do to make it pay for life?
Yeah, we can stretch that out. So these are things, years to withdraw money.
Say to
So I
95.
mean, Grady got those good genes.
I'm taking my electrolytes, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, you're living till 114. I forgot. So we
okay.
need to add you another 59 years.
Okay.
But you can change the years that you want to
Okay.
withdraw if
Okay.
you think that it's, you want to spread it out, and you can just update it here and it'll update immediately. So you
Okay.
can spread that out and see what that, rate of return that you just calculated would be. And all it does is takes a moment, and you can download an illustration. I'll show you one quick slide while we wait on that. You can download an illustration that will show you and the client the full illustration, but this can be hard to read for some people. So we also have a policy highlights document that's just a few pages long that gives your client all of those highlights for them to see.
Yeah, but
So
just for first example. So for the first example we looked at, guys, we put $312,000 in over 25 years, right? 12,480, I believe, was our numbers. And then I pulled out 45,314 for 20 years. That is $906,000. So with an asterisk, nearly 3 times the amount of money I paid in over 25 years do I pull back out tax-free over 20 years. And the entire time I had access to my living benefits and the death benefit associated with it as well.
Yep, and I am changing from the screen. I do have a couple more slides. I will come back while this is running.
Cool.
I want to show everyone how to what the end looks like. Oh, looks like it didn't want me to skip. So here, let me show you what that looks like. If we're taking out 33K each year, we're gonna run for a while. We're gonna make it run. We're gonna run all the way for another 40 years.
1.3 million, Marty.
Wow.
Same amount of money in, guys. Same amount of money in. You're putting in
2 commas.
2 commas of distributions. And what's the death benefit, say, at year 85?
Let's see. Our death benefit. Wow, we ran across the screen.
No,
So the
back up.
policy year would be when it stops. Death benefit still over $100,000.
That's policy year. No, 85 year, the second column.
Yeah, this is the policy year. So we add it to, whatever their age at 85 is right up here.
Yes.
It's gonna be over $500,000.
So I've pulled out 33. This is the thing that excites me about IULs times 20. So I pulled out $677,000 at this period of time. Tax-free retirement income. I put in $1,000 a month. I disciplined myself. I saved my money. 65, I stopped paying. Pulling out $33,000 a year, tax-free. I do that for 85 years. I do that for 20 years. I'm 85 now. God forbid I pass. I pulled out $677,000, and my wife and my daughter, my kids, get $527,000 of tax-free life insurance with death benefit. Marty, why aren't we selling more of this stuff?
You should. You really should.
Drop a Y in the chat below if this slide excites you guys, because this is the stuff that fires me up. Because it's you show this to a client and it goes, there's no money in a bank, there's no CDs, there's no mutual funds, there's no 401ks, there's no product that does and creates what we just illustrated in 6 clicks of a mouse on Pi Day.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Michelle's fired up. I love it. So, okay, you've got more slides, but I just wanted to, this is the magic sauce of IULs right here.
It is. I just want to show everyone the last few steps of how to get it over to their client. If you just click, once you run that quote, you share that quote, your client's going to see exactly that you've started a quote and that you've shared it with your contact info at the bottom so they can follow up with you. If you click start an application, we notify your client that we've started it. And then it's going to be simply a tale of 4 applicants. And this is where I'm going to see who all's on the call. Let's say once you finalize it, first, we've got Hassan. I've got good news for you. I've got confetti, which is a good thing. You've been approved as applied for All you got to do as a client is just check out, review your documents, and you're good to go. So that's the first scenario. You're just approved as applied for. Next, shouts to Drake. You've got instant approval other than as applied for. So there's some few changes, and you can make those changes if you'd like, and then we can lock that policy up. Shouts to Kyle. I am unfortunately unable to give you this product, but I have a great alternative. This is when we reroute your client to TrueStage and we give you the ability to preserve that sale. For those who have dealt with TrueStage, you used to have to send them a link and they go off platform. Great update for you. Now they stay on the Ethos platform. And then in a month or two, you will be able to continue with the agent assisted application. Even if they go TrueStage, you can keep driving that policy forward, which is a huge update relative to having to send them off our platform. And then last but not least, Melissa, if you do have that rare scenario of under 10% being manually underwritten, then we will update you, the client, and you, the agent, on what information, if any, we need and what actions to take to get your client across the finish line. So you can look forward to, staying informed all the while. Just to wrap things up, we've got consumer materials, as I mentioned. Grady was mentioning CDs and other alternatives that your clients might be well versed in. Well, we make those, we juxtapose this IUL with those so we can speak in a language your clients get as we communicate, things like the power of zero, of not having any downward exposure in down markets. Got that policy highlights document I mentioned, which is a summary at the top of your illustration that makes it easy for your clients to see the big points. We've got agent resources. If you go in your portal, just go to resources, Ethos IUL, and all your happiness is in that first link. We've got agent and client resources, rate sheets, talks about policy loans, everything you want. So I'm left with the rhetorical question: who's ready to get started? I'm going to just remind you, we help you focus on protecting families, not trying to figure out software. You can sell this policy anywhere you got an internet connection. Great comp headed your way. Paid the day after the effective date. $1 million max coverage, which is amazing. Shouts to Melissa, I see you, which is amazing for you to cover those high earners. We can help clients with those riders that come along with their policies. And Jose, we're coming for you with those Californian IULs. They will be available in Q2, and we've got that financial heavyweight of Emeritus backing these products. So if you will, just log into your agent portal. I will ask, I know Grady normally is managing the chat. I will ask if anyone ran a quote during this call, can you drop a Q in the chat? If anyone was able to run a quote during this call and they were able to see how their portal works, let's go. I just needed one. That's all I needed. I'm hyped now. So Grady, I appreciate the time, the energy, the effort of helping us have an opportunity to earn your team's business. And with that, I will cede the floor back over to you.
Marty, it's always a pleasure. I love the the ease at which your company makes the often complex and challenging for a new agent to endure. As life insurance is it's a necessary product. Living benefits are fantastic for people that are going through challenges and need access to that money before they pass. And to create a tax retirement income stream, utilizing the benefits and stability of insurance companies is truly what the IUL is for. So to have you guys as a partner, to have you guys as a teammate, I mean, I didn't know how big you would become in our life. And, and now to say that we're doing in our shortest month with 6 days of agents not selling because they're at our annual convention, that we had our biggest Ethos month yet at over $1 million of issue paid volume with you.
Let's go.
The future is bright, bro. I can't wait to see when we're hitting that, the next levels of 1.25, 1.5, 2 million and beyond. And I don't really see any reason not, because you do have such a great, I love all of our carriers, right? Love them all. They've all got their niche, but there's some that have the future in mind, and there's some that are just trying to hold on to the past. And I believe that Ethos is truly focused on who we are: agents, life insurance sales producers. And we're trying to, we leave our homes, we dial the phones, we do all we can to go serve our clients. and to have a carrier that's fully vested in us making that process as easy as possible. The number one product in America is convenience, and the number one product in life insurance sales, Ethos has figured out, is making it convenient.
That's what we're working on. That's what we're working on. We appreciate the kind words.
Hey, we appreciate the heck out of you. Drop an ME for Marty Evans in the chat below. Hammer those buttons. Give him some love. Marty, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much, and look forward to having you on again in the future for our quarterly Ethos update review, brother. Appreciate
it. For sure. I'll have more updates for you. I'll have more product launches because we take feedback. So if you ever have a way that we could get better, let us know. We won't rest on our laurels. And y'all have a wonderful rest of your week, and y'all take care.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great day. Everybody, thank you for joining. Get in your Ethos back office. Click the pink button if you need to get yourself contracted, and dig into the training. Ethos has become a pillar of our company, and we're excited to continue to forge in the future with them. Thank you for joining me today. Appreciate you all.